if you're like me, you've prayed for things and you've wondered, when is God going to answer it? Why is it not being answered? But have you ever considered that your prayer might be involved in like the spiritual battle? It might be. I found some scripture to back that up. I've prayed for some big prayers since being a Christian. I prayed, at one point when I was a new Christian, I prayed that God would bless me. I'm not sure how in line this was with this will, but I blessed that He would, or prayed that He would bless me by allowing me to be a writer and work from home and support my family that way, instead of, at the time I was like a customer service rep. But it took me like 5 years of praying that prayer before it actually like came to pass, to where I was blessed with that, to where I was able to work from home. Or praying for friends or family that, didn't know Jesus, praying that they would know Jesus. And these people, some of them were atheists, but over 5, 6, 7 years, whatever it may have been, long time, it came to pass. Or praying for my health, where I prayed for 15 years to be healed, and finally it came to pass, and it was a long time. And sometimes during those times we can really get discouraged. We can wonder, like, is God not hearing me? And I think we're always just like feeling like, even though it might be a delay, and I've heard this before, it's a delay, not a denial. But we start to lose hope, like, and we start to wonder, like, well, what's the holdup? What's what's going on that's causing this prayer to not be answered? And sometimes the reason the prayer isn't answered is because of spiritual battle. Like, this was crazy today. I read this today and I was kind of like, wow, like, because usually when we're reading scripture and stuff, or in scripture in general, we don't get a lot of understanding of what they mean by spiritual warfare. Like, we hear that mentioned, but we don't really understand what that looks like. So I thought this was very interesting to read today, because it explains like why sometimes we may be praying for something and it hasn't been answered yet, and it might take some time to be answered. What This verse that I want to read you is from Daniel. It's Daniel 10:12, and it's Daniel having a vision and speaking to an angel. And this verse says, "Then he said to me, 'Do not fear, Daniel, for from the first day that you set your heart to understand and to humble yourself before your God, your words were heard, and I have come because of your words. But the prince of the kingdom of Persia withstood me 21 days, and behold, Michael, the archangel, one of the chief princes, came to help me, for I had been left alone there with the kings of Persia.'" So what I saw this, I kind of took it in one way, but then as I read more about it and looked up more of people's interpretations, what it's basically saying is that this angel, in response to Daniel's prayers, where he had come and said, humbled himself, and he had set his heart to understand on God, this angel had come to say that he was basically coming to answer his prayer, but yet the prince of Persia, the enemy, Satan, held him, withstood him, or kept him from actually enacting this prayer for 21 days, so that the angel had to call Michael and have Michael come in to help, like, fight against. So my understanding, and I've seen this backed up, is that angels, there's a battle going on over your prayers. Like, when you pray something and it doesn't come to pass immediately, that there's like this whole war being waged around your prayers. And I think that's fascinating to me. That just like blows my mind, to think that when we put a prayer up, there's this whole thing going on about it. Like, we're a part of this whole thing that we will never see, or not in our physical world, but we won't see these spiritual battles going on. But this whole thing is going on behind us. So I just thought that was really interesting to look at and say, like, wow, that's what these spiritual battles look like at times. It's over our prayers. And I wanted to share this because I think a lot of people, well, I know that I've prayed for stuff, and when it doesn't happen pretty quickly, I start to feel God doesn't hear me, or I start to just get really discouraged, depressed, whatever it might be about that. When you have to understand that some of these prayers are, it sounds like, withheld, like held up, like withstood, fought against. So I just thought that was encouraging, because even though our prayers might not be answered right away, they are heard. and to know that there is a battle going on and that it may be delayed, it gives us hope to never give up, to not give up on praying for these things. So that was just something I wanted to share. I thought it was really cool. And so that's all I wanted to share, just that short little clip real quick. And hopefully give somebody some hope through that. Anyways, that's it for this time, guys. Please like, subscribe, comment, whatever you can do. I have a GoFundMe link down below, as well as my Patreon account. If you could help me out, I'd appreciate it. Until next time, guys, God bless.